Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi for me.
And why?
For sure. You can just watch him and you just think, like, how does he do that? Like, he can't be human.
Jude Bellingham's bold Messi statement before England versus Argentina World Cup semi-final. 2 days before he has to stop Lionel Messi in a World Cup semi-final, Jude Bellingham looked at a room full of cameras and said something no England player should ever admit out loud the week of the biggest match of his career. He said Messi doesn't feel human, not world-class, not the best I've faced. He reached past every safe answer available to him and told the world that when he watches Messi play, what he feels isn't just admiration, it's disbelief. Like he's watching something that shouldn't be possible. Now sit with that for a second. This isn't a bench player or a wide-eyed teenager talking about a childhood hero from a distance. This is the 23-year-old England has built its entire World Cup around. The player who dragged his team through the knockout stage with 10 men on the pitch. The one every pundit in the country is calling the best young talent England has produced in a generation. And even he just stood in front of the world and admitted that the man he's about to spend 90 minutes hunting down might be operating on a different plane entirely. So why would England's most confident young star hand Argentina a psychological gift like that, days before the biggest match of his life? That's what we're unpacking. What Bellingham actually said, why he said it now, and why this one sentence tells you more about what's really at stake in Atlanta than any tactical breakdown could. Let's set the stage, because to understand why this statement matters, you need to understand who's saying it. Jude Bellingham is 23 years old. He plays for Real Madrid. And at this World Cup, he hasn't just performed, he's been the story of England's entire run. While Harry Kane gets the headlines as captain and record scorer, it's been Bellingham dragging this team through the knockout rounds. He was the difference maker against Mexico in the round of 16, when England survived with 10 men in brutal conditions. He was the difference maker again against Norway in the quarterfinals, scoring twice to complete a turnaround that sent England into the semi-final. 2 goals against Mexico, 2 more against Norway. If Kane is England's certainty, Bellingham has become their explosion, the player capable of deciding a knockout match on his own at 23 years old on the sport's biggest stage. This is a player who does not need to be in awe of anyone. He is, by every measure of this tournament, one of its 2 or 3 best performers, and that's exactly why what he said about Messi lands so differently than if it came from a squad player or a fringe name. So here's what actually happened. This week, with Argentina and England set to collide in the semi-final, Bellingham was asked about the man he'll be sharing a pitch with for the first time in a World Cup, Lionel Messi. And instead of giving the safe, generic answer, "He's a great player, we respect him, we'll be ready," Bellingham went somewhere more honest. He said watching Messi play brings a mix of admiration and disbelief because of how effortlessly he pulls off things that should be impossible. And then came the line that's been repeated everywhere since, that Messi does things that make him think he isn't human. Think about the weight of that phrase for a second. Not, "He's the best I've played against." Not, "He's a genius." Bellingham reached for something bigger. The idea that Messi exists slightly outside the normal category of footballer altogether. That's not a compliment you give lightly, and it's definitely not one you give to someone you're about to spend 90 minutes trying to stop. That's the tension sitting at the heart of this entire story. Bellingham isn't just an opponent. This week, he's a fan, an admirer, and a hunter, all at the same time. And this is where the story becomes bigger than one quote, because what's happening on Wednesday isn't just England versus Argentina, it's a handoff moment in football history, whether either side wants to frame it that way or not. Messi is 39 years old. This is almost certainly the last World Cup of his career, a career that has already delivered every trophy, every record, every individual honor the sport has to offer. He's not chasing legacy anymore. He's closing a book that's already a masterpiece. Bellingham is 23. He is, right now, at the beginning of the exact kind of career arc pundits have spent years predicting for him. The leadership, the big moment goals, the ability to put a national team on his back in a way most players twice his age never manage. People have been comparing him to Messi's mentality and temperament since he was a teenager at Borussia Dortmund. Now, for the first time, that comparison isn't hypothetical. It's standing across from him on the same pitch. So when Bellingham calls Messi not human, there's a layer underneath it that's almost poetic. The player being positioned as the next great one, publicly acknowledging the player who defined what great even means for this generation. It's admiration flowing forward in time, from the man who might be the future of the position to the man who's been its present for 2 decades. But here's the part that makes Bellingham's comments genuinely bold rather than just sentimental. Because admiring Messi and stopping Messi are two completely different jobs, and Bellingham knows it. England didn't get to this semi-final by accident. They got here through resilience, grinding out a win with 10 men against Mexico, needing extra time to get past Norway. Tuchel's team has built its identity this tournament on toughness, not comfort. And now that identity runs directly into the most dangerous attacking talent in the tournament, a 39-year-old who is somehow still capable of deciding a World Cup semi-final with a single moment of magic. So Bellingham's praise isn't England waving a white flag before kickoff. It's the opposite. It's a player secure enough in his own ability to say, out loud, that the opponent in front of him operates on a different level, and still walk into that match believing his team can win anyway. That's not fear. That's clarity. He's not pretending Messi is beatable because he's older, or because Argentina has had a taxing route through the knockout stage. He's saying, this is as hard as it gets, and we're doing it anyway. That's the version of confidence that actually means something in a semi-final. Not bravado, but respect paired with belief. And then there's the piece that makes Wednesday impossible to replicate: timing. This is the first time in Messi's entire career that he's faced England in an official match. Not a friendly, not a qualifier. A World Cup semi-final, with a place in the final on the line, in what's almost certainly his last World Cup ever. Bellingham gets exactly one shot at this. Not one shot at beating Messi. Teams get chances to do that in club football all the time. One shot at doing it here, in this specific match, in this specific tournament, against a version of Messi that will never appear on a World Cup pitch again after this summer. That's what turns a press conference quote into something worth talking about. It's not just praise. It's a 23-year-old fully aware that he's standing inside a moment football will never hand him, or anyone else, again. So here's where things stand heading into Atlanta. England, powered by Bellingham's explosive form and Kane's relentless finishing, are one win away from their first World Cup final since 1966. Argentina, powered by a 39-year-old who has somehow found another gear in what should be the twilight of his career, are one win away from defending their title. And in the middle of it, you've got a 23-year-old who just told the world in plain language that he thinks his opponent might not be human, and still has to find a way to shut him down for 90 minutes, maybe more, with everything on the line. That's not just a good subplot. That's the whole story of Wednesday's semi-final in a single sentence. If you think Bellingham's honesty here says more about his mentality than any stat line could, hit subscribe, because whichever way Wednesday goes, this rivalry is about to write its next chapter, and we'll be breaking down every second of it. Kane called Messi a player who makes the difference. Bellingham called him not human. Two England stars, two different words, one unmistakable message. Argentina's captain still has this entire tournament's respect, right before England tries to end his story a match early. See you Wednesday.